Welcome to an Introduction to Educational Research. This is assignment 1, and this is the introduction part 3. This video will walk you through setting up the first 8 pages of your research thesis or field project proposal, and it will go over each of the different sections you will need to include in your research thesis or field project. To get the most out of this video, it would be best if you had a printed copy of your master's thesis field project handbook in front of you. Okay, well, let's begin. On your screen, you see the components of Chapter 1 of your master's thesis or field project. Now, whether you are doing a thesis, scientific study, or a field project, either one, your first 8 pages will be exactly the same. So you will have a title page, and if you go to page 25 in your master's thesis handbook, page 25, you will see a boilerplate of what that page should look like. All you have to do is just copy that page. The second, you need a signature page. And if you go to page 26 in your master's thesis field project handbook, there it is. That's what the signature page looks like. So all you have to do is copy that. The next page, or your third page of your thesis or field project, will be your author's release. And if you go to page 27 in your handbook, there's an exact copy of the author's release. Then page 4, you should type in the word abstract at the top and centered, and then just leave the page blank. Page 5, you should type in acknowledgments, centered, and just leave it blank. Page 6, your table of contents, just type that in, have it centered, and then leave it blank. Page 7 is a list of tables, if appropriate. So just type list of tables and centered and leave it blank. And page 8 would be list of figures, if in fact you use figures. So just type list of figures, centered, and leave the page blank. So those are the first 8 pages, no matter if you're doing a thesis or a field project. Now, if you are doing a thesis, then, as you can see on your screen, you want to look at pages 6 through 8 in your handbook. Now, the different sections that you should have are listed here for you. You'll have an introductory section, and you can read about that in your handbook. You'll have a statement of the problem and need, and in that section you'll develop a logic chain, and in the next video you'll see about logic chains. If you're doing then a thesis, you should have a research question or hypothesis. Then you should have a section entitled methodology, and you want to include in that participants, data collection procedures, data analysis procedures, and you want a section on expected results, a section on limitations, a section on definition of terms, a section include summary, and then you want your final section to be your references in American Psychological Association format. And finally, if you have any appendices, you want your last section to be your appendices. So that's if you're doing a thesis. Now, if you're doing a field project, the first part's very similar. You want to look at pages 8 and 9 in your master's thesis and field project handbook for what should be included in each of the sections. Just like the thesis, you should have an introduction that includes a background and need and a theoretical underpinning. You should have a statement of the problem, just like in the thesis, which includes your logic chain. But then you should have a section for the purpose of your field project. And in that, you will define the purpose and the format. What kind of a project is it going to be? Is it a website? Is it a training? Whatever. Then you will have a section for your project objectives, and you will spell out specifically your objectives, and you will also spell out specifically how each objective will be evaluated. Then you will have a section on expected outcomes, a section on definition of terms, a summary section, a reference section, and, if necessary, appendices. And again, that's all outlined very specifically on pages 8 and 9. So if you're doing a thesis, you want to look at pages 6 to 8 in your handbook and just follow along with that. If you're doing a field project, you want to look at pages 8 and 9 in your handbook. And as I said, there is one more video in this initial introductory assignment. And in that, we'll cover some helpful hints on how to get through this proposal process without going crazy. And also, we'll talk about a logic chain. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video.